What's good YouTube, and welcome to the house. There are massive changes to the official Konami policy documents for vending at events. As somebody who has been behind these booths, worked under the restrictions, I can see that the entire market is going to definitely warp a bit because of this, and there's big changes to the international market, the collector's market, everywhere coming, and I'm not overhyping this. Let's go ahead and get into what these changes are. The first one is by far the biggest. The $99.99 cap for vendors at events for regionals and YCSs is abolished and gone. There is no cap now, at least from what I'm seeing, and that means the collector's market is wide open to actually be accessed by these vendors. And do you think it's coincidence throughout Yu-Gi-Oh history that cards have stuck to around $120 before? Now they're going to be selling like hotcakes at events. They're no longer pushing it down, trying to get those $100 bills to buy collections later. They can take their time and face the competition with cards like Magician's Soul and Lightning Storm, and I definitely think you're going to see some crazy rises in prices versus the past history of Yu-Gi-Oh! The second change will affect the international market. Vendors are now officially allowed to deal in foreign cards as long as they are TCG legal. That is German, Italian, Spanish, any language that is TCG legal can be dealt with. They can be in vendors' cases. If it was happening before, it was kind of a blind eye, unspoken thing, but you can now officially just have those up on the table. What do you think that means for cards like legendary duelist cards that aren't shorted over here? Also, the third change is the most minor, but I can definitely see why it's happening. OCG products cannot be dealt in, period. That is playmats, field centers, etc. And I think for people investing that are independent vendors, not booth vendors, that use OCG products and stuff, that's pretty darn good for us, but it also does close the market for a lot of people and what they might have invested in, period. Let's go ahead and talk specifics on the market and what I think the fallout's going to be. So before, if you walked up to a booth, they had Magician Souls, $99.99, even no trades on top or anything like that. You could just straight up get the card, and they'd usually sell it because let's look at this price point. After fees and tracked shipping, they're about getting closer to that $100 price point, and that 100 in the room can mean a lot to them to buy collections for half price, 1/3, whatever they're paying on them, period. And it's really big for the cash flow for vendors. Now they can sit there and, oh, this card's pretty hot in the room, nobody else has it, I'm gonna go ahead and charge $140. That's not predatory, it's literally supply and demand. Nobody else has it, it seems to be really hot in the room. They can make those arguments and start charging more for the cards at events. So people that are showing up to the events hoping to be first in the room to flood the vendors and get those cards they need, that is now the worst game plan possible, and the market is open. So for cards hugging really close to 100 right now, like Lightning Storm, it's open season. Vendors can now assess the market, look at what's going on, and make bigger boy buyouts than ever. The market is completely open for the OTS stores to go freaking crazy. I remember back in the day, I went to the YCS where Ash and Diagram were first legal. The vendors were selling them at 100 and would constantly sell out, but they would still sell them for 100 and be very fair about it. Man, this is going to be crazy moving forward. It is no coincidence that we floated around that price for so long while this policy was in place, and with that policy gone, well, there's also good reason for it being gone. Look at what vendors could not deal in. Completely the collector's market. Do you know what this movement's going to do now? Collectors are going to come to YCSs and huge deals are going to end up made. Now vendors have a reason to not just hot potato a collector card. Before, they would try to buy it kind of cheaper and get rid of it pretty quick as well so that they could get cash back because they've got to pay overheads and that kind of thing. Now they're in the game of, well, these cards, we can actually make some real money off of them. We can be the only ones at the event with a first at Go Stardust, perhaps. We have specific things that we can now be known for and attract very particular customers at events. So the collector's market, I think, is also going to see another renaissance, another bubbling up of crazy prices going, because deeper pockets can now stare at these and make realistic decisions versus their overhead and bankroll and start to sink into it, very similar to the Magic the Gathering community. There are only so many buyers for these, but I definitely think from where we're sitting at now, what used to feel inflated now feels deflated to me, and we're definitely going to see people scrambling for these cards heading forward with this rule change. Now let's talk about the international market. People are gonna be eyeing these German cards a lot freaking more when they're 120 over here and they're 50 euros over there. Malicious Mains, 40 euros versus our 100 US dollars. Definitely, we're gonna see people start to figure out how to make these international connections, get these cards over, open up at their booth, and they will actually undercut. They're gonna go, all right, I have this thick stack of German cards that I bought at 40 euros a piece. I'll undercut everybody in the venue. I'll start selling these for 80. So there is some good fallout for us in the US. I feel really bad for the international sellers / international community that are gonna look like, wait, but it wasn't shorted over here. But wait, now it's going up. I had time to get this. We already see an influence in the graphs and the cards pricing and what's happening over here from just the little bit of interaction we've had with the international market before. That is going to increase greatly from here. You're going to see people ripping Magician Souls off of card market. You're going to see people ripping these cards, coming over to our YCSs to make these sales, and actually make their flights and hotels and all the crazy stuff back from the international stuff. How do you think a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Pros end up paying for all these trips? That's one of the most commonly asked questions. They deal in cards like this where their profit margins can be the greatest, and they make sure to end up covering their travel costs to continue to get to compete. Almost every single Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro that does this either comes from some rich bloodline or they deal in the vending. The third change, I understand completely why after looking at these two products. I talked about the 20th anniversary Slifer stuff earlier today, but look at this playmat. This is an official OCG playmat. Now look at the official judge support playmat, and this playmat happens to have a holographic sheen to it and looks very nice. I wonder why Konami would be interested in stopping this little $30 playmat from being sold over here when it, you know, has the same art for the Judge program and was a travel assist playmat. Definitely, it will conflict with the future products they want to support or create over here, and they don't want this kind of stuff floating around the YCS from their official vendors and then undercutting the market there. So where there was money to be made, sell this God card playmat that looks freaking awesome for $50, buying it up for $30. They're stopping that there, and I do understand why. It's to protect their own interests, so that's kind of become contraband for vendors, as I understand it, as well as field centers. I'm sure Konami has plans for field centers, and more so over here. They've had great success with those. The biggest change out of all three, this is the smallest, this is the middle one, the international market being officially allowed. The biggest is the $99 cap going away and changing. As a vendor myself, having been in the past seat of helping out booths and being in charge of buying their cards, this is big. This is huge for them. What they can go into within the collector's market and the current meta both are going to change. They're going to change their game plans on how they approach the start of the day with their quantity of cards that are going to be hot before round one. After round one, suddenly a lot of cards are going to be just a little bit cheaper, and towards the end of the day, they're going to be buying very differently when they assess their bankrolls and what they can take home exactly. So, if you are a collector and in the collector's market, you got some stonks right now, and you might want to consider pulling back. If you are a player, you might want to consider, when sets drop, getting your cards sooner than later so we don't see those tour guide-esque pop-ups, because imagine what tour guide really could have gone towards, or Rescue Rabbit without that cap. I remember actually one of the companies that got in trouble was for selling a Rescue Rabbit at 125 at an event. So these things did happen in the past, and that cap helped keep cards down towards a more reasonable price. we're gonna have to see where the market's actually gonna go heading from here. Thank you guys so much for watching and hearing my take on these policy changes. I know it may seem minuscule to you right now. You're like, I don't go to events, this isn't going to affect me, but it will be a market-wide effect because these OTS stores are some of the biggest players in the game, and what can be dealt with at events and those massive exchanges are going to definitely be going a different direction. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy getting this kind of lightning news. Not necessarily the take on it or what's happening, but I do like to present it with my own thoughts. And, you know, support me on Patreon. The $20 tier, I know it's a lot to ask, is the first that gives you mailed back incentives that I think I got some pretty good stuff from you from that OCG market we're talking about. And if you don't want to support directly that way, there is the TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra, supporting the channel directly for the cards you'd already be considering buying. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. As a vendor myself from the past, I can only imagine what kind of plays you could make in theory with this kind of a policy.